Okay, hey guys. I am coming to you from my classroom. This is a little bit different for me. I've never really recorded anything online. I have a tendency to want to look at myself instead of look at the camera. So, I don't know, just bear with me. Each week, I'm going to try to leave you a video of some kind, either a lecture about what we're going over that week with some ideas about what you could talk about on the discussion board, or updated information about what's going on campus and when hopefully you can get back. I don't actually look the best right now. I was going to get dressed for this, but I've spent all day long working on it and I've decided there's no time to get dressed. I'm in my classroom at school right now. I don't know how to flip the camera. I would flip it and show you. Anyway, like you care about that. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to post these videos on YouTube, and then I am going to put a link in on Blackboard to these videos. I will try to see if I can make it where the video appears in Blackboard, but I've never done videos in Blackboard before, so this is all new to me. That being said, please be patient. If I mess things up on Blackboard, if you let me know, or if something is not working, if you let me know, I promise I will see about getting it fixed as quickly as possible. If you notice that something is missing that needs to be on there, if you let me know, I will get it fixed as quickly as possible. At this time, all of your assignments will be submitted on Blackboard. That means all of your reading responses, your focus lesson that was supposed to be due the week that we come back from spring break is going to be submitted on Blackboard. Your reading analysis presentations, I'm trying to think what else. Basically any remaining assignments will be submitted on Blackboard, which I'm going to show you on my computer in just a second, kind of what that looks like, or do the best I can to show you that. For this week, you won't have, like for spring break, you're not going to have a discussion, but when we would normally come back the week of March 23rd through 27th, well, I guess it'll be March 23rd through 30th, you will have a discussion for that week. There is a link that I've set up for week 9. That's the week after spring break. There's a link that I've set up to that discussion posting. I also have included a rubric for the discussion board, because essentially the discussion board is going to take the place of our in-class discussions where we go through the best practices and we do all that stuff. Now we're going to have a discussion board forum. I have moved around points from different assignments in order to allot points to the discussion board grade. I want, if you're presenting to this discussion board, for you to receive points for presenting to it or for posting to it, which I will explain all those points. Also, everything that I'm telling you in this video, for the most part, I'm going to include in an email or an announcement, one of the two. I think an email might be easier because it's a lot of information, but I may do all three. I may do it in an email, an announcement, and this video. I'm not going to do a lecture video this week simply because there is so much information to go over and talk about without adding in a lecture to go with it. I'm just not going to do it. Also, I am working on setting Blackboard up week by week. Right now, I think I have all of week 9 completely done, and I'm just going to go through there week by week and try to finish it out from there on out, or from week 9 on out. So let me explain to you a few things. For each week, you'll essentially have a short video for me. I'll explain that. The discussion for each week will be worth 20 points, with a total of 140 points being allotted to the discussion. That's something completely new. I will explain to you in just a minute, and through the email, how and where I got those points. And we can talk a little bit about the rubric of the discussion board as well. You need to essentially make 3 posts. If you want an A, at least 3 posts, possibly more. You have to have at least 1 original post from yourself. That's your own original posting, your own original ideas and thoughts on the readings and the stuff from that week. and then you need to respond to at least 2 other posts. Okay, so for the reading responses each week, they will still be worth 15 points, and they have a place set up each weekly learning module for you to submit them. The focus lesson is due March 30th. It's going to be the same except for the 15 points that was allotted for the presentation in the focus lesson is now going to be included in your discussion board talks, posts, discussions. So that will still be there. Everything else will be the same. Essentially, the focus lesson will be worth 75 points, and the 15 points you'll still get, but you will get it in other avenues. You'll get it on the discussion board. Same way with the ICRs. You have ICRs every week. Those are all of those points for the ICRs each week are now going to be allotted towards the discussion board. Your reading analysis presentations are a little bit different. I'm going to go over those in just a minute when I go through and show you the Blackboard stuff. I want you to still do them just like you've been doing them, where you create a PowerPoint and you present the PowerPoint to the class. I do want you to have an audio version now to your presentation. So if you haven't presented yet, you will need to basically, as you go through the PowerPoint, audio is added in. So basically you record yourself discussing each slide, just like you would be discussing it in class, except now we can't see you. You were just online. Your final project is worth 165 points. Also, wait a minute. Let me say one thing about the reading analysis presentation. I did include a link, which I'll explain more in just a minute, that shows you how to include step-by-step that audio. So if you've never done that before, it will help you through that process. I know that it seems like it's super hard and it can be somewhat time consuming, but it's not as bad as you might think. I will say this though, I would not wait until the last minute for your reading analysis presentation, like to do those reading analysis presentations. I'd go ahead if you have still not presented yours and get started on getting it together so that you have more time to work on getting that audio in it and you understand how to do that, because that will basically be how it is presented. Your final project is now worth 165 points. The extra points, because it was worth 240 originally, the extra points will go towards the discussion boards and all that stuff. So I will explain all of that. Okay, guys, so this is Blackboard. You know this, you're familiar with this. Let me go to student view so it looks like what it looks like when you go in. The very first thing you're going to see is this announcement. Basically, it just tells you that I've been working on this all day long and to be patient. It is definitely time consuming to put all this together, so I am going to be working on this, it looks like, for the remainder of the week. Sorry, end of 8th period. For the remainder of the week to get this all together, because it's just taken me a while to kind of get it all going. Anyway, when you go in and you go to learning modules, a lot of it's going to be the same stuff you're used to seeing. Week 8, we'll just start there. That's the week y'all are basically currently on as far as everything goes. This just gives you your readings, and that is all stuff that you're used to. If you go to week 9, you're going to start to see some new stuff. So here I've got the focus lesson and the focus lesson rubric. It is the updated rubric. I know that there is or I think that there is. Let's see. Okay, no, there's not. It is the updated rubric, so you do have the rubric that you're wanting to look at now online. If you printed the old one, please get rid of it. You need to definitely look at this new one. The biggest difference is that it is worth 75 points instead of 15 points. So that has been taken off there. Those points you will still have the opportunity to gain. It will just be through the discussion board rather than through the focus lesson. There's also a place for you to turn in the reading response 6. So if you click on it as a student, it gives you the due date, and then you just browse your computer and you find your file and you hit open, and that will attach your file, and then you hit submit. As of right now, for this first week, because this is very new to everyone, I have made it where you can have at least 3 attempts to submit your reading response number 6. I probably will not continue that as it goes through. I'll probably just make it where it's 1 or 2 attempts. There's no reason for you to have to attempt it over and over and over again. So that will change as it goes along, but for now, that's how that's set up. If you have any issues with it, please let me know, and I will work with you as best I can. Underneath it, you can see that you have the reading analysis presentation rubric. This is the updated version. So if you click on this, it essentially will bring up the stuff that is different. The stuff in red is the stuff you need to pay the most attention to. First is the discussion questions. You need to post your discussion questions, at least 3 of them, on the discussion board for that week. I would pick the 3 that you think are the best. You still need 4 to 5 on the actual PowerPoint. You can just include them in the end, but that will be how those will be handled. The preparation, you still need to have an outside handout. Your outside handout now either needs to be posted onto your PowerPoint as an image or a picture, or it needs to be posted onto Blackboard. I would try to come up with a handout that's actually usable, or a usable resource. And what I mean by usable is that the possible teachers, or how would you say this? Future teachers, that you guys could take that resource and actually use it as a handout or something in your classroom. For example, this particular week, we're talking about the focus lesson and the mini lessons. So you might include a graphic organizer that could be used to help make an anchor chart during a focus lesson in the classroom. That would be something that would be really good if you could find one. But those are the biggest changes. Everything else is pretty much the same. And the points for the reading analysis presentation is still 75 points. The other big change to the reading analysis presentation would be the audio aspect. I do want you to include your discussion, you talking over the slides and explaining them and discussing them. There is a link. So if you click on this link right here, this takes you to step-by-step instructions as to how to add audio into your PowerPoint. I'm sure there's also YouTube videos. If you look, I went this direction with it as far as the written out instructions, because I personally prefer written out instructions. That way I can move at my own pace in following them. I don't have to constantly stop the video and rewind or fast forward to get to where I was or where I want to be in the instructions. I can just scroll through them easily. So that's the version I have provided for you. I would definitely, if you have not done your reading analysis presentation, I would look through those and those instructions to figure out how to do what you need to do. If you are or have not presented the reading analysis and you are still needing to do that, you will submit it each week. You will have a reading analysis presentation placed to submit. If you have already done your presentation, this is not important to you. You can ignore it. You don't need it. Just skip on through it. Submit your reading response, anything else due that week, and just ignore this particular link. If you haven't, you do it the same way. You go in. The due date for this coming one is March 23rd. Midnight is your due dates. I would like for you to notice that. That's a little bit different. Normally, you'd have to turn them in by 6 o'clock. So that is definitely giving you a little bit more time. For the 2 people or 1 person this week that's presenting, if you have issues, let me know. For this particular week, for the March 23rd reading analysis presentation, I will back it up to March 30th if I need to. I would prefer not back anything up because I don't want everything to compile at the end, but I will do that if we need to because I know there's a lot for this particular week. The discussion board rubric is here. It just explains your expectations of the discussion board. Sorry, I have 2 monitors, so it opens on the other one. It's very simple, really self-explanatory for the most part. A is timely discussion contributions. Comments are meaningful, show preparedness, reflect course readings, in-depth thought and contributions, add to the overall learning of the other individuals, demonstrates courtesy and respect, don't be rude to others. You have participated in at least 2 discussions and have posted at least 1 original thread. A B is a timely discussion. However, overall contribution is lacking in the readings, are only sometimes incorporated into the discussions, and postings do not always reflect questions posed or topics described. Individual participation in at least, or individual, I'm sorry, participated in at least 2 of the discussion forums. So you haven't had that third original thread. A C to a C minus. Basically, the type of comments are good idea, I agree. Very little evidence of having read. Failed to participate in at least 2 discussions. And a D, little to no participation is there. So that's how that will work. In as far as like getting to the discussion board, to me, that's the hardest part for you guys. I thought the discussion board was over here in course tools, but I cannot find it. So what I have done, and what I'm going to do for each week, is I've included a link. So at the bottom of all your stuff will be your link to your discussion board. You just click it and it'll bring it up, and then I'm going to have each week's discussion labeled. Week 9, like next week will be week 10. Then you just simply open it and you can create a thread. This is where you label it whatever you want. Maybe my ideas on the focus lesson. Okay. And you add in your information, you submit. Oh, yeah, I need to add stuff in. Anyway, and then other people can respond to your thread, or they can create their own threads for others to respond to them. So that's essentially how that will work. And that's your layout with Blackboard from here on out. I'm going to work on week 10 probably next, and then try to get the rest of it all together. It's just taking me a while, so please be patient. I'm about to get your email ready, and if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you, guys.